And as for your first question, I think the question is so troubling, right? Because you ask the question assuming there is a moral equivalency between what takes place in these countries where they repress their people and they bludgeon their people and they burn down their religious facilities and they deny journalists, you all, the chance to ask a question of a Secretary of State. Just like the question you had the opportunity to ask me today and demand that we provide responses to you and hold us accountable. Those things don't happen in those nations. Our diplomats all around the world can be incredibly proud of the fact that they represent a nation that has God-given rights ensconced in our fundamental founding documents that ensure that when we get something wrong here in the United States, when something as tragic and as awful as what happened to George Floyd takes place, that the government responds. Right? We saw both local law enforcement and our Department of Justice move very quickly to address the particular situation. We've now seen people say, hey, we're calling for changes in the way law enforcement works. It's not my space here as the Secretary of State, but you can see this debate take place in America. That doesn't happen in nations across the world. In Tiananmen Square 31 years ago, when thousands of people were massacred, instead they repressed journalists, they disappeared people. It was fundamentally different. Our nation is so special. And it's the greatest nation in the history of civilization. It is so special that challenges like the ones that we're confronting here in the United States today will be managed head on. There will be a political process that's engaged in. There'll be wide open debate. And our core principles, the fact that we respect every human being because they are made in the image of God, will be reflected in the way that the United States responds to these challenges. And I actually think our diplomats have this incredible opportunity to tell this important story about how America confronts challenges inside its own country in a way that reflects the finest of what our founders would have hoped America could achieve.